the glow up. So, look, I've talked about this on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm going to talk about it here. I like to go into things slightly differently for each of the platforms, and here I want to talk about a few things in particular. Now, when it comes to astrology, the first house, the fifth house, and the 10th house. This is going to be a big part of what's authentically attractive about you, and to step into the higher vibration or more confident versions of these signs that are in these houses, as well as any planets and asteroids that are in these houses for you. Because all of them create an influence, and all of them have a specific there's certain looks involved there. Again, yes, each of us is going to be a little different because we've got different genetic backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, all this sort of stuff, and I don't dispute that those are a thing. They definitely are. But the reason why, even when you have families and siblings can look completely different even though they have the same parents, there's a reason behind that. Now, obviously, there's a bunch of different genetic strands, and different things can take different shapes. But when it comes to how a person looks, you can see this in the first house. Whatever sign or signs are in there, whatever planets and asteroids are in there, all of these create and influence how this person is going to look. So again, I might give some examples just for getting into it. I'll go with a real obvious one. If you have Cancer in the first house, for instance, Cancer is the crab. So again, there's also the moon involved. So people who have Cancer here often have like a roundness to them. There's a softness. There's a softness to the face, to the shape of the face. Even it is often round, like the moon. There's a softness and a glow to the skin. And even a soft sort of squishy or curviness to the body. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about male or female. All people who have Cancer in their first house are going to lean in this way. It can also be, if it's Cancer in the first house and it's more crab leaning, there could be that kind of, still kind of soft, but leaner because of the crab and the little tentacles, the little legs and stuff, right? So it can be either way. But there's like a moon glow to these people. If you have Sagittarius in the first house, there's going to be this kind of almost horse-like element to you. Like you might have like a horse shape face kind of thing. Or, more of a slender yet athletic sort of body build to you. You know what I mean? There's something equine about you. Like you look a bit horse-like. And that's what's interesting because, again, the centaur is what is connected to Sagittarius. So it's half horse, half human. So there might be that kind of element to how you look. And it's pretty common that this is the case. Let's think. Capricorn. If you've got Capricorn here, you're gonna be kind of stockier, right? I mean, even if you have heavy Capricorn in general, you're gonna have that kind of stockier look about you. Masculine or feminine, it doesn't make any difference. If you're on the more feminine or woman sort of side, you're kind of that, those booby dolls? I know that sounds a bit weird, but they're really, really feminine, very, very curvy, but sort of sturdy looking, very Capricorn. And the men, again, they're very, very stocky and solid looking. It is actually a thing. I've seen it more times than any. And even when we talk about the moon sign, right? I know I didn't mention that in terms of the houses, but the moon sign has a lot to do with your eyes, how your eyes look. Now, there's some in particular that really stand out. Like I can see this on a regular basis. One that's like, I think, screamingly obvious is Pisces moon. Pisces moons have these really, really big, open, innocent, dreamy, kind of dewy eyes, right? They're like the doe eyes, like the definition of it. And once again, I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You're going to have that kind of big, open, dreamy, like they look kind, they look inviting, they look sweet. I have never, and I look at celebrities, I study people in general. I have never once seen a person who has Pisces moon who doesn't have eyes like that. They're a similar shape, but they're open. They're really big, open, and dreamy. Always. And like I said, there's this innocent softness about them. Scorpio moon is another really obvious one. There's an intensity about their eyes. It draws you in. It's kind of dark and kind of creepy. I don't know how to explain it. And they're often more deep set. Like they're further back into the head, whereas Pisces is more further forward, right? But there's this thing where it's almost like it sort of beckons you in, you know what I mean? And you can't help but stare at it, but at the same time you're kind of scared. You don't want to, but you do. It's very Scorpio, and it comes through their eyes. And I actually think the Scorpio moon is, when it comes to that Scorpio stare, yes, you're going to have elements of it as a Scorpio sun and elements of it if you're a Scorpio rising. I don't deny that. The big three is always going to show it. But Scorpio moon, boom, right? I mean, this is really going to be intense. You're just going to see it. And they have a very particular shape. They have a certain way that they look, certain facial expressions and things they do with their eyes. I think Gemini moon is another one that can be quite obvious. They definitely have like an almond shape to them. But there's this, how do I describe it? It's like a knowing. Yeah, like an unspoken knowing. There's this intelligence to their look and the way that they look at you, their eyes. And it's kind of playful and sort of fairy-like and kind of silly, you know, and it comes through in their personality also. I've seen it. So it's, again, there's these types of things that you can really play into when it comes to how you look. And you can make it work for you, and you should. In terms of the other placements, the 5th house and the 10th house, these are worthwhile because the 5th house is your personal expression, you know, your creativity. And again, it's early stages of dating. So you want to be connected to that because it helps you know how to represent yourself in the most attractive light. And that's in any area you want to attract because it's connected to attraction. So you kind of do want to know what's going on in there so you can use it. And then the 10th house is your power. It's what people will feel about you, how much power you have, how you use it, and in terms of like a public sense. So this is important. It's how your peers are going to view you, understand you, how they're going to receive you. So these are all important, and you have to know when to play into them and how to use it. It's important. So obviously, in terms of a glow up, the more you understand yourself, the more you accept and love yourself, the more attractive you become. Now, the thing that can be interesting with this, that doesn't mean everybody's going to find you attractive, because we all find different things attractive. However, and again, it doesn't mean everyone's going to like you either. Sometimes having this kind of, comfort or awareness or self-reflection can be a thing that puts people who are truly insecure off. That's not your problem. You can't do anything about insecure people. You can't do anything about people who are confident. You can't do anything about other people. They're going to do what they're going to do, and there's not much you can do about it. And I wouldn't worry about it either if I were you. There's nothing you can do. If they want to do something, they can do it. If not, then they can't. You don't worry about that. And again, it's not a hurtful thing. It's not like, I'm so much more important than everybody. It's not like that at all. It's simply you don't have the power or the say or the right to decide what other people think, what they do, whether they like it or not. It isn't up to you. It's not your business. It's not your problem, and you don't need to worry about it. And when you are comfortable with yourself, this doesn't rattle your cage either. It is what it is. When you meet a person and you don't gel, right? Like, you're just not compatible. And that's okay. You're not gonna be compatible with everybody. The only way you were, or you'd be able to do that, is if you deny yourself. If you deny everything that makes you you, and you focus or study the people that you're with so that you can conform to make it work, so that you can be everything that they want. I mean, that's exhausting for me even to say it. It's like, why would you waste your time when you could be focusing more on who you are, what you're doing, and being the best version? Now, the other thing I want to mention is you got to work out in terms of glow ups and attractability. You've got to work out what weight, in terms of your body, what weight do you feel most confident in? Do you feel more confident being a bit softer and squishier? And, a certain weight level in that regard. If that makes you, no, I'm not saying to pretend it and, fake it till you make it. None of that crap. I'm talking about, do you genuinely feel you're most confident in that way? If so, do it, but in a healthy way, right? And I'm not saying like the view of healthy. I mean, like, do it in a healthy sort of bracket, like where you're eating well, you're taking care of yourself, you're doing some kind of fitness or whatever, right? But you just sit in the demographic. If you prefer to be a lot more sort of sculpted or, really strong looking, then you have to work on that. Whatever it is that makes you feel the most confident, the most attractive. And if you don't know that yet, explore. Try different things. Try different types of clothing, or styles or whatever, until you figure out the one where you feel attractive, right? And then you maintain that. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter if they agree with it. It doesn't matter if they like it. It has nothing to do with other people and everything to do with you. And the more confident and comfortable you become in that, it just won't bother you anymore. You won't care. You'll be like, okay, you don't like it? That's cool. You don't have to. This is a powerful place to be. And again, some people might be like, oh, well, everyone's different. I agree with you. They are. But there is an insecure version of things and a secure version. And every single sign in every single house in astrology and everywhere else, this is the way it is. You can either do the low vibration, insecure, whatever version, or the secure, high vibration version. And it makes all the difference to how attractive you are. And everybody knows confidence is attractive. Now, I want to talk, before I finish this up, there's a big difference, right? There's really only one type of confidence. And I'm not saying this in like a simplified version. It's complicated, right? But there's some distinctive points that come with confidence. So to talk about confidence, let's talk about what confidence isn't. So when it comes to the more quiet or reserved insecurity, that's the insecurity that people know about. That's the one everyone sort of understands, accepts, right? If you sort of dim your light because you don't want to, be seen in whatever, and you hide yourself and, you put yourself down, that's the insecure people know about. Arrogance is also insecurity. And the reason I say that is if you have to go over the top to try and compensate and prove yourself and make a bunch of noise and all the rest of it, you're not confident. You're just overcompensating because you don't want people to see that. When the reality is, people who know what confidence is, they'll know it. It becomes even more obvious than the other one. Both of these extremes are obnoxious. Long term, neither one of them is fun to be around, because the person who's insecure but quiet about it, they shut down when things get tense. They shut down, they do the silent treatment, they won't talk it through, and then you'd have nothing. There's nowhere to go from there. The arrogant ones, they're more likely to get defensive. They'll fight back with you. But they're both insecure. So neither one of these is going to be helpful for you in terms of life and the navigation of life. The secure, confident, the real confident version, it doesn't need to explain itself. It doesn't need to show anything or prove anything or whatever. It's not about that. It just is. I am what I am, take it or leave it. I can't make everybody happy. I can't do everything that everybody else wants. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to focus on what I'm doing. This is a more comfortable and I mean, again, it takes work, inner work to get there, but that's what it does, and it's important. Anyway, I'll leave it there, and I'll see you guys the next video.